Hello everyone, welcome to our video Multistage CI/CD Pipelines as Code with YAML for Azure DevOps. So we will see a complete tutorial on how to configure and set Azure Pipeline as a code using YAML configuration language, and also how to build multi-stage pipeline, which means that we have multi-stage in the same YAML file. We can build and deployment and even more stages if needed. So first, I will give you a quick overview about the demo workflow. This will give you a graphical representation about all the steps in this demo, and also it will give me the chance to explain and teach you many important information about the configuration. Then we will go for the demo, and at the end of the demo I will give you some tips in order to able to troubleshooting Azure Pipeline, especially for the hosted agent, because we don't have access as a physical machine, because Microsoft hosted agent provided as a software as a service, so we don't have access for that. The tips will just give you an example how to troubleshooting the hosted agent. But first, let me give you a quick introduction about myself. My name is Mohammed Radwan. I'm a developer technologies MVP and principal DevOps consultant. I have been doing software development for more than 15 years now, worked on several projects for different enterprise customers across different regions and countries. I heavily participated in the community, developed several frameworks, presented many sessions, holding various certificates for Azure and DevOps. I started back in 2002 as a classic ASP developer, relocated multiple times in multiple countries, worked with several technologies and for different roles and positions. And for the last 8 years, I moved to consultancy-based role where I focused more on helping different companies, some of them from the Fortune 500, to improve their software development and delivery using DevOps and automation. I have developed and authored several frameworks, command line tools, and guides. You can find them on GitHub and Azure DevOps Marketplace. I like to share my experience. This is why I have a YouTube channel and blog where they have hundreds of videos and posts that share different topics from my real experience. I have presented many sessions in several user group conferences, events, and customer site as well in different countries. So I got the chance and the opportunity to work in different culture, project size, and company size as well, which helped me to have different experience. Here are some links for my activities. Okay, so first, this demo will not cover any infrastructure as code. There is other videos that I created which cover how to create an infrastructure as code as a part of the pipeline using Ansible, Terraform, and ARM as well, but this video will not cover this part. So the first step is to start by creating the infrastructure manually through logging to the Azure portal and creating my resource group, and then using a template which will create a web app and SQL Server on Azure. So the first is by creating an Azure Service Plan. It is just one template that will create all the components. So this includes an Azure Service Plan, a web app, Azure SQL, and also configure the Azure firewall rule so the web app can access the SQL Server. Once I complete that, then I will open the Azure DevOps and then navigating to the pipeline. The first step is by creating a YAML, which is the build pipeline as a code, and choose the location where I want to store my YAML file, which is usually the repository of my project. Then I will use a template with ASP.NET template, which is ready-made YAML file for some tasks. And since my application is an ASP.NET Core, this template will has the default tasks needed, which is restore all the NuGet package, build the application, run the unit test, and so on. And then I will run a continuous integration build, so we can see that the build is running and the unit testing and all of that. Then I will open the YAML again and start editing the YAML file by adding a step to start creating the package of the web app and storing that package on the artifacts, and then running a build again. So this task will package the web application and storing that on the artifacts. Once this complete, I will start editing the YAML again and start adding a new stage, so the build and the deployment stage. And in the deployment stage, I will start adding some tasks to pick the package and deploy that package to the web app. And then start running the second stage, which is the deployment. And then the first step in the task is to pick the package, download the package on the pipeline agent, and then deploy that package to the web app. After that, I will change the connection string of the web app using the connection string from the web configuration in my application to make sure that it will be translated correctly, and then browse the application from the Azure Web App. So let's see the demo. So let's look at the sample project that I will use in this demo, which is Parse Unlimited Web Application, a website for car parts. And this is a source on GitHub. And this is a key feature, ASP.NET 5, support Linux and Mono, using Visual Studio 2017, and many others. Okay, first I will navigate to the demo generator where we can generate the project template. So here I will select Azure DevOps organization and choose the required template. Here Azure DevOps sessions, and here I will choose the template. Navigate to Parse Unlimited and then select this template. Here I will just type the project name. I will type the name Parse Unlimited project, then create project. So this will create the project including different components, as we can see, themes, border columns, swim lanes. This includes the source code, the pipeline. You can watch this video for more information about Docker containerization and where and how Docker can fit with DevOps and CI/CD pipelines. As we can see, now the project is created. So let's navigate back to Azure DevOps and refresh the page here. So we can see this is the project. Let's open the project. And as we can see here, there is many work items created. Even some of them is in the done state, and there is many pull requests committed and so on. So this project can be used for demo or understanding or training purpose. Okay, let's navigate to the repos so we can see the project. As we can see here, we have Parse Unlimited Web Application, which is created using ASP.NET 4.5. So if I navigate here to, this is the documentation of the project. Let's open that. This is for how we deploy the project. And let's navigate to the web application directory or folder. So as we can see, this is an MVC application. And also it includes test project. So we have here unit test, Selenium test. This is for UI testing. If I want to also to try the automation of UI testing as a part of the build, it's out of scope, but I'm just showing you what is included in this project. So, and this is the unit test. So let's navigate now to the pipeline. So we have a pipeline created part of the generated project. I will pause this pipeline, select it and pause this pipeline. Then return it back here. And then let's navigate to Azure portal and I will create new resources. So I will create the back end of my project, which will be the web app and the SQL on Azure, because this demo will not include creating the infrastructure as a part of the pipeline. In other labs and videos, part of them is creating the infrastructure from the code under the source control, but this is out of the scope of this demo. So here we are going just to create the infrastructure manually using the Azure portal. So we have a template here, it's called Web SQL. So if we navigate here to this template, then click create. So from the name of the template, we expect to have a web app and SQL on Azure. So here I will name my web app name. So I will just call it web app SQL RAD1, my name. And then here I will select create a new database, and here I will name the database Web App SQL DB. Then for configuring the settings, I will create new SQL Server on Azure, and here is the name of the SQL Server. And then just put the username and password for the SQL. I can put any username and password. This will be used in the connection string in the web app. Later, we will see that. And here I will change the location. Let's choose the UK South. And as we can see here, this option allow Azure Service to access server. This will allow the firewall on the SQL Server so the web app can access the database. If I didn't check that, then I need to configure this rule manually. Then select and then create. So this will create the web app and the SQL Server with this resource group name, Web App SQL Rod 1. So as we can see now, it's complete. So let's navigate to resource groups. And as we can see, we have new resource group created, Web App SQL Rod 1. If I click that, we can see that this is the resource created. This is the database. This is the web app. And this is or the SQL Server on Azure. So let's navigate back. Let's navigate to the web app and click on configuration so we can see the connection string created as a part of the template. So here, this is a connection string. As we can see here, the name of the database that I created part of the template, the username, and the password that I used to create the SQL. So let's close that. We have also some configuration for the app settings. Let's navigate outside from here and get back to the Azure DevOps. So now I'm going to create a new pipeline. And in this time, I will create a pipeline as code using YAML, not just the classic or the visual one. If I want to use the visual one, then I just go for the classic editor here. And since I'm going to use the pipeline as a code, then I will choose this. And here, the first is to ask me where I want to store my pipeline code. So I will choose here this repo, which is a parse unlimited. Here, as we can see, we have some Reddit YAML template, which includes some template for tasks. And here I will choose the ASP.NET template. So as we can see, once I create that, this will generate the YAML file with some predefined tasks for building ASP.NET application. So the first is to change the agent image. Since I know that my application required to build the ASP.NET with running the unit test, so I need a Visual Studio 2017 image. So I will change that. And as we can see here, I just will use this image. And here is the name of the value that I can use in YAML. So here I will put the name. And then just save and run, or I can save and run later. So let's save first, and then just edit again and run. As we can see, the trigger here is not defined, and this means that this will be continuous integration. So every time you save this pipeline, it will automatically trigger a new build. So let's navigate to the pipeline. I prefer to open two instances so we can see different views. So here, let's open this pipeline so we can see the running of the build from the outside. Let's open another instance so we can see that from inside. So you can see how we can have different views. So this is in details, and this is like an abstract view for the build. So as we can see, this is the tasks in the build. Just to check out the project, get the project from the source control, start restoring all the packages using the NuGet package, and then building the application using the VS build, and then running the unit test. Yes, this is the NuGet command. Let's see that from outside. So as we can see, you can watch this video for more information about Kubernetes cluster, how to deploy Docker image to Azure Kubernetes service, and how to configure CI/CD pipelines for an end-to-end development and deployment scenario. Now it's building the application. I'm speeding up all of that, but I leave that to have the full experience. So as we can see here, running the unit test. Now the test is complete. And as we can see, I can navigate to the test result from here. If I click here, this is the test, and we can see that I have total 16 tests, 14 passed and 2 unknown, but all of them there is no problem. Or I can just get out of this running job and navigate to the test from here. It is the same view. Okay, so let's get back to the pipeline as code and click edit so we can add another stage. And this is very important because now I'm going to use a multi-stage build and deployment in one YAML file as a code. So in order to do that, I just need to go under the trigger and start adding a stage so I can name that. This file has no stage when I'm running that. So this is like a single or one stage. So I don't need to define stages. But if I need to have more than one stage, then I need to define the stages. So first, I will just have a new line and enter this. Be very careful about the spaces and the indent because this is very restricted. So as we can see now, I have the stage built. Then just remove the extra space that's not needed because this is very important. And as you can see here, we have this correction, which means that this file has an error and I must fix all the error before I can save. And even if I could save and it has any syntax error about the spacing or the indentation, this will cause the build and deployment to has an error in the running, and it will show me that. So be very careful about the spaces and the indentation in this file. I will show you how to do that exactly. So now I remove these spaces, another space here as well. So now it seems fine. So when I collapse the stage, as we can see, the pool and all of that is not in the stage, but I need all of the content inside the stage. In order to do that, I just expand the pool and the stage as well, and I will select all the part that is not under the stage and make 2 tabs for indentation. Again, this is very important. So all this part is under the current stage, which is the build. So as we can see now, it seems there is no error. And if I collapse the stage, we can see that all the stage now collapsed correctly and there is no element outside this stage, which indicator that this is correct. So now I'm going to copy that stage. Be very careful about the spacing to copy the space as well, and then create another stage. This will be for the deployment. As you can see, I get back to the beginning of the line to make sure that I will paste in the right place, then paste here. So now I'm going to change the name from build to be deploy. This is the second stage. Here, deploy. And I don't need any variables here. So I will delete that with all spaces, and I will delete all the steps because I will create new steps. So as you can see now, I added the second stage and I need to create the steps in this stage. So I will use the graphical UI to add the steps to the YAML. So if I navigate here and choose the app service deploy, because I want to deploy my application to the web app on Azure, so I select that task. So the first is to choose the subscription, my subscription, and authorize that to the Azure subscription so I can have a permission to deploy that. And here, then I can see all the web app, and I have the web app that I created earlier in this demo, which is the web app SQL ROD 1. And here I will delete that and just put that with the drop folder. So this task will start looking for the web package on the drop location on the Azure DevOps, because I will copy my web app in the drop location. This is another task. I will show you that later now. And then let's add that. So as we can see now, I have this task added to the deployment stage in the YAML file. But as we can see, it still has error. So I need to indent that part under the deployment stage with 2 tab while I'm selecting it. And as we can see, the settings here, this appears automatically, which also indicator for a correction. I have that correct and it seems working fine. So now the deployment is ready to take the web package from the drop location and deploy that to the web app on the Azure. But in the build stage, I don't have any web package that put that on the drop location. So I just need to add another task in the build stage so I can create the web package and put this web package on the drop location. So I will go here for the build stage and search here for publish package. So here the publish artifact. And then here, this will be the drop location and the build artifact staging directory. Then click add, 2 tabs. So this task will publish the web app to the drop location. As we can see here, we have the drop here. This is the folder. And also in the deployment, I just need, before deploying the package to the web app, I need to download the package on the agent first. So I will add another step to download the package from the agent. So here, download build artifacts. And here, just write the artifact name, which is the drop. And then click add, 2 tabs for indentation. So now I have complete the 2 stages. So let's double check. If I collapsed that and that, it seems very good. So let's expand this as well. And now just save. This will automatically trigger because it's continuous integration. So let's navigate to the pipeline, open to an instance. This sometimes happens because I need to confirm the authorization for the pipeline. So I will just need to click here, authorize resources, and then run new. So as we can see now, the build is running. Let's open another instance so we can see that from inside. Click here. So this is the build and deployment from outside, and this is from inside. So it will go all the process that we explained before. And of course has a new task, which is publish build artifact, which is here. So run the build, the same tasks. Just show you here, this is from outside, how it looks like. And here, run the unit test, publish the artifact on the drop location. So we can see here, unlike the previous build, this build publish the web package to the artifacts because we added the publish package task to the build stage. So this published here. So it can be picked up by the deployment pipeline. So it can pick up this package and deploying that to our infrastructure. As we can see here, I can access the artifacts here. This is the drop location because I published the artifacts. And here, this is a test. And here, this is the web package published on the artifacts. So let's see that from outside here. Now the deployment will start. This is from outside and this is from inside. Let's expand that. So as we can see, it will check out, download the artifacts from the drop location. then start deployment. You can watch this video for more information about Git with animation. You will see different animated commands like branch, merge, rebase, cherry pick, and many others. Now it's complete. So let's navigate here to see that from how it looks like from outside. As we can see, it's completed successfully with some warning, but no problem. It just completed successfully here and here as well. So if I navigate to the repos, we can see that. So we can see the connection string. So if we go for the web config, we can see the connection string name is default connection string. So I will copy it and navigate to my web app. This is the resource group and the web app configuration, and update the connection string name. So this is the correct connection string name. So the web application can translate the connection. Save that. And then navigate back to the web app and browse. So as we can see, this will load the web app from Azure Web App and Azure SQL Server with all the data. This is the web app. As we can see, it has some products for car parts. As a tips, in order to troubleshooting the problem about the package was not exist, I needed to troubleshooting, and in this I used a command which is dir ps. This will display all the existing files and directories or folders in this location, and I can run them on the build agent, so I can display all the existing file, and just Control C so I can exit from that. So I will use the same command with the command task on the build pipeline, so I can understand the hosted agent, Microsoft hosted agent, which means that I don't have access. The hosted agent is provided as a services, so I don't have a physical access to the build agent. I don't have a remote access, so I can navigate to that. So what I needed to troubleshooting is to display what is the file exist in the pipeline agent. So in order to do that, I will come here in the deployment stage and start searching for command. This is just a tip, it's not needed. And here I will just type a message, tell me all the folders and files in this path. And here I will put the same command. So this will tell me exactly what is inside the build agent. And of course, 2 tab for indentation. Save. This will run the build automatically. Let's navigate here. This is the normal file. I don't need it. I just want to show you here. So this is the command line, the task. So let me get back. As you can see, it starts displaying all the files and folders in this. And of course, it starts with tell me all the folders and the file in this path and listing all of them. I can also, because this is a Windows machine, if it is a Linux machine, I can use bash instead of command line with this command. There is also a very good documentation about using bash, how to using bash variables and displaying that. It has great content also for more information about bash command. At the end, I would like to thank you for watching the video. Please, if you have any question or comment, don't hesitate to reach out. You can find more information on my blog, which will appear at the end of the video, along with some other related video. Thank you.